everyone. This is Professor Alan Barrell, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to Cambridge, at least for a short time. I'm always so pleased to be connected to China and Chinese friends, and very pleased today that we will celebrate together the life and the work of a great and famous poet from China, who will always be remembered here. And I'm honored to be your guide on our special Cambridge poetry tour. Here is Zhimo, and we're going to speak of Zhimo and Cambridge, and we're going to join our nations and culture through the great art of poetry. And we'll do it by visiting together some of the places that this poet loved as we reflect on his wonderful words. So we will wander through pictures of Cambridge, Grantchester, the River Cam, and we will take a punt upstream and read together Zhimo's emotional Goodbye to Cambridge poem, perhaps recalling our own goodbye if you have ever been here. So, he was born Changsu Hamilton Su, originally called Zhu Shangxu, and he was born in Hening in Zhejiang in 1897 and educated at Hangzhou High School. From there, he went to what was then Peiyang University. It's now Tianjin University, and he studied law. And in 1916, he moved to Peking. And in 1917, moving to Clark University in Massachusetts in the USA, he earned his bachelor degree. But he went on from Clark to Columbia, and he studied political and social sciences there. So he had a great education in China and America. But he became disillusioned with America. I find the USA intolerable, he said. So he left New York in 1921 to study in England in Cambridge. The city of Cambridge, a medieval and creative city, and now a center of science and technology. When he came here, it was probably very much like it is today, though Zhimo found Cambridge much as I find it when I walk around, although of course it has changed a great deal in an industrial sense. Once in Cambridge, he would have crossed the mathematical bridge that some of you know very well, and he would have entered the wonderful Tudor court at Queen's College. What a wonderful picture that is. And he would have loved Downing College in the city centre as well. This, of course, is Trinity. And we don't know what eventually stimulated Zhimo in the choice of his Cambridge College. He didn't choose Trinity in the end. We do know that he came here deciding he didn't want to be in the USA, and he certainly considered Trinity very seriously. And this is, of course, the great gate of Trinity College. But a few minutes' walk along Trinity Street, he found another college, which we will visit in a moment, and that captured his imagination and won his heart. And Zhimo fell in love with English romantic poetry, and he loved the poems of Keats and Shelley, and he did many translations into Chinese. And of course, he became accepted and adopted by Cambridge, where he remains fondly remembered today. But it was the grandeur of King's College that eventually won his heart. This college was begun building by Henry VI in 1441. Henry VII did a little bit of it more, but it was completed by Henry VIII in 1544. And here is the absolutely magnificent King's College Chapel, which took 100 years to build. So to live and work here meant inspiration for a poet. And Zhimo loved Cambridge so much. Here we see some of the backs of the colleges, which embrace the River Cam, and King's has a very special outlook on the river. And just for a moment, imagine with me Zhimo strolling through these grounds or resting to watch the punters slowly moving past on a bright sunny day. How happy he would have been. And here is the Bridge of Sighs at St. John's College, another wonderful bridge. And like the famous Bridge of Sighs in Venice, it is often linked with feelings of lovers and unrequited love. And it reminds us that Zhimo's romantic life was largely unhappy and messy, as with other poets like Shelley here. His first arranged marriage really didn't work at all, even though he had children, and it went against his belief in free and simple love. It took a long time for him to escape and find romantic love. And all around Cambridge, he saw the peace and calm of rural England in scenes like these. And Zhimo came to love the countryside around Cambridge, a love which is reflected in his poems. The village and the riverside fields of Grantchester, wonderful place for walks and picnics. A village remembered through the life and the untimely death of another poet, a famous young English poet, Rupert Brooke, who lived there before his wartime experience and wrote with passion about the First World War, where he died. Punting is part of the way of life in Cambridge, and Zhimo loved punting on the River Cam, and he wrote words about it in his most famous poem. Just to punt a boat upstream, to where the green grass is more verdant. Poetic words of Zhimo, which illustrate his passion for punting. So many idyllic spots to stop and enjoy the beauty of the open air. Punting boats upstream. It's the best way to visit the colleges of Cambridge, as some of you will know because some of you have been. And it also gives us a chance to enjoy the scenery all around, just as it was when Zhimo was here in Cambridge. The pool under the elm trees holds not water but the rainbow from the sky, or to have the boat fully loaded with starlight, to sing aloud in the splendor of starlight. The fields and waterways around the city of Cambridge can become more magical at twilight and the moments joining day to nighttime. So Zhimo saw color and contrast and natural beauty in everything. And his words bring us romantic images of simple elements of the natural world. Zhimo's untimely death robbed the world of a great poet, but his words are here forever with us. And his memory is celebrated every day in Cambridge, a great centre of learning and culture. At King's College, his life and times are celebrated in the chapel and in the Zhimo Memorial Garden, where rests the memorial stone. And here is the beautiful memorial garden at King's, where we have a life remembered and cherished, cut short, we should remember, by a tragic death in 1931, a young man still in a plane crash near Tian, Shandong. This is the memorial stone to Zhimo in King's College beside the bridge, a place of pilgrimage for thousands of Chinese visitors every year. So now I am privileged to read for you the poem many of us know by heart. Zhimo saying goodbye to Cambridge again. And please, if you feel like doing so, read along with me. Saying goodbye to Cambridge again. Very quietly, I take my leave, as quietly as I came here. Quietly, I wave goodbye to the rosy clouds in the western sky. The golden willows by the riverside are young brides in the setting sun. Their reflections on the shining waves always linger in the depth of my heart. The floating heart, growing in the sludge, sways leisurely under the water. In the gentle waves of Cambridge, I would be a water plant. That pool, under the shade of elm trees, holds not water, but the rainbow from the sky. Shattered to pieces among the duckweeds is the sediment of a rainbow-like dream. To seek a dream? Just to punt a boat upstream to where the green grass is more verdant. Or to have the boat fully loaded with starlight, to sing aloud in the splendor of starlight. But I cannot sing aloud. Quietness is my farewell music. Even summer insects keep silence for me. Cambridge is soundless tonight. Very quietly, I take my leave, as quietly as I came here. Gently I flick my sleeves. Not even a wisp of cloud will I bring away. Concluding thoughts for us all after that little tour and that wonderful poem. Art and culture connect the peoples of the world's great family in spirit and purpose, and we are all part of the world's great family. Diversity enhances creativity and innovation. Great poetry is for everyone. Here's a picture of me, of course, and to emphasize my feelings, I recall with you being honored during a visit of a group of students seeking information about Zhimo, and to have my picture drawn by a talented member of the group, a very nice lady. And the same student read the poems of Zhimo together with me, she in Mandarin and me in English. And I have to confess that Chinese students read Zhimo with far greater feeling and passion than I can manage in English. So it's been a great pleasure meeting you, and I thank you for listening and sharing thoughts and memories of the wonderful words of Zhimo has been a great privilege and a pleasure for me. So I hope to see you all again one day, if I can, or at least speak to you through some medium or other. And I wish you all a very wonderful life. And as I speak to you today, we are approaching here our Christmas celebrations in the UK. And I wish you all a happy Christmas and a wonderful year in 2021. Goodbye for now.